Hey guys, it's Andres again.
And Chelsea.
So today we're finally ready.
Yep.
After gathering the hundreds of receipts that we collected over the build process, we're ready to share with you how much it costed us to build this very first glam site.
Yep. So stay tuned. We are going to share the total at the end, but basically we're going to walk through the whole property, telling you the details of what things cost, say if we could have not splurged as much as we did, and just stay tuned for the details. So, Andres, what was our budget initially?
So we didn't have a great business plan drafted for this. We moved here to Tennessee knowing that we wanted to do this, and we knew we wanted to make it work. We had a very rough budget because we had looked at all sorts of different buildings. We looked at domes, tents, A-frames. We ended up with a shed. So really, we had no exact idea. We had a rough number of maybe 15,000. Now that did not work because about 50% completion, we had already spent 15,000.
Yeah.
A huge problem we had building this is all the costs that I remember from Home Depot and Lowe's were very different because I hadn't really been to Lowe's and Home Depot for quite a while for like big construction projects. And I knew things had gone up on price. I thought it was more just the lumber, but really everything went up on price. A box of screws, wire for electrical was ridiculously expensive. Outlet boxes were ridiculously expensive. The outlets themselves were expensive. So everything I went to buy at Lowe's surprised me when I went to check out because it was very, very expensive.
On top of that, we wanted to go all out with most of our finishes. So we didn't skimp anywhere. Maybe we shouldn't have added the sauna right behind us. Maybe we shouldn't have done the outdoor tub. Maybe we could have spent less on the mattresses and the linens and everything there. But we were really decisive, making sure that we spent the money in a really intentional way where it would impact the guest stay and really add additional value. So with the mattresses, we wanted to get really top of the line mattresses to make sure that everyone had really comfortable stays. With the sauna, we know that it's glamping and it does get really cold here.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure they had nice, cozy, camping outdoor experiences.
Yep.
And with the linens, we wanted to make sure that first that the linens last for many guests, because we could have bought a lot cheaper, but maybe we would have had to replace the linens or the sheets or a lot of the details that we have inside.
And really, we were kind of scared that this wasn't going to work here. It was a test. So we decided, let's go all out as far as providing amenities and the size and the comfort features, because we want to attract people here. We feel we're fighting a little bit against our location. We feel that we're already on the outskirts of the Smoky Mountains kind of tourism area, the hot spots. So we wanted to have everything so that hopefully Airbnb would convey that, hey, this is a pretty cool setup. You need to come check it out. It's a little bit more driving, but it's worth it.
Exactly.
And also in the end, we didn't want the budget to give us a constraint that we couldn't do what we wanted to do in our heads. We had this vision. We've seen so many videos about glam sites and tiny homes and unique stays. So we had a vision. Chelsea had looked a lot of Pinterest stuff and things we wanted to provide. So we didn't want the budget to stop us and be like, okay, we're done spending money now. We can't do that, or we can't offer robes anymore, or we can't put fans outside anymore. So we really wanted to go until our vision was complete. And that required more money than $15,000.
Yes.
So let's get into the details. Now, something to keep in mind that we forgot to mention. This is a DIY build, so we didn't hire any of the work out. We did everything ourselves. So right now, the cost we're gonna tell you is pretty much everything materials, except for a couple of things that we got some help, and I'll let you know how much that was.
So one of the most expensive items that we had was obviously the structure behind us. It is a 10 by 16 shed that we got from Old Hickory Builders, and it's about $5,500 is what we spent for this bad boy behind us.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is that these sheds a year and a half ago were more like $3,500. So the price of lumber already hurt us from the very beginning with a very, very expensive shed. And in another one of our videos, we went into the details of why we didn't build it ourselves and why we went with this structure. So maybe we'll link that video in the details so you can check that out. So the next thing we want to talk about is this patio. Basically, just the structure, the roof structure and the walls. The walls were very cheap because we bought a huge pile of reclaimed wood for $150. It was metal and wood. So that really was cheap. It was a lot of work to put it together, but it was basically very inexpensive. Now, the roof was not cheap because all those polycarbonate panels up there are pretty expensive. So all the brackets, all the hardware, and all the panels was $1,600. And that's quite a bit of a big expense, being that it's not needed in a way, but we wanted to create an outdoor space. Knowing how much it rains here, we wanted to make sure there was enough dry area for people to enjoy outside area, because if not, they're gonna be inside the shed all day long.
All right, so the bathtub here with everything, say with the piping and the tub installation, was $327, and it's probably one of the favorite features of the guests. So I am not mad that we spent this money for this beautiful view that the guests get to experience.
Okay, the sauna. This was one of the features that definitely we felt was going all out, because not many glamp sites or luxury or unique stays in this area offer saunas, but we wanted to offer one. Now, the original idea was to go electrical, or with an electric heater that was pretty inexpensive, but because of our amperage that we needed to run everything else, we couldn't do that. So I had no option but to go buy a wood stove. The wood stove was by far the most expensive item in the sauna. It was $850, and that was one of the most inexpensive ones that I could find. So they have a really cool design and everything, but they're very pricey. So $850 for the stove. Now there's a bunch of wood in here. There's insulation inside the walls along with plastic. We also have polycarbonate panels in the roof. And then we have a few little gadgets for the sauna, like the thermometer, the timer, the bucket, this seat rest. I decided to buy those. I didn't want to build anything like that. I wanted this to be comfortable. So we bought this. And then we also purchased some cedar wood for the bench and the pavers. That wasn't a big deal. But yeah, by far the stove, $850. When we added all of this up, we came up with $1,750. So that was a pretty expensive sauna. But as we can see now in the winter, we see this chimney on fire almost every time there is a stay here. So I think people are enjoying the sauna a lot.
Next on the list is the shower. So that totaled $156. So that includes everything. So the pavers on the ground, all of the wood, the shower head, the knobs, all the plumbing behind there, the little soap dispenser, the pole, and that's pretty much it. It was a very simple design, and we wanted to keep it that way because we wanted it to be a glamping experience. And I know that it keeps you super warm in the winter.
So let's talk about interior finishes now. Interior finishes we call everything that wasn't the shed itself. So this stud, this wood, these studs, the carpet up in the lofts, all the light fixtures, including light bulbs, including screws, basically everything that it took for us to build this kitchenette area with the hardy backer, the concrete. So the bathroom walls as well, everything that's there. And then a little bit of insulation that we used as well. I counted all that as interior finishes. So that was $1,950. Out of that, the biggest expense within that was the light fixtures. We spent $600 basically when you add up all these light fixtures. We have one more light fixture in each loft. And yeah, so that's a pretty big category. I would not think it would take that much to finish it out. Now, at the same time, $600, it's a lot. We could have gone with less light fixtures and we could have done cheaper light fixtures. But again, we were trying to really reach our vision. So the light fixtures we think make a, did I say light fixtures a lot? So we think they make a pretty big impact. So here it is. It's all done now. It looks good.
Okay, so this next one is quite expensive, and it's the furnishings all inside, the decor, the details. So it ended up being $5,100 for all of these things. So the furnishings being the mattresses. So this mattress alone was $1,000. We have two more mattresses up in the lofts. Those are twins. I think those are around $700 total each. So we didn't skimp by any means on those. These all are very comfortable mattresses. And then included in that budget is also everything in the baskets. So any spatula, any decor piece, any linen, and we tripled all of the linens to make sure that we had enough turnover for each guest, or if anything got stained or ruined or ripped or anything, that we had enough of those. So that is basically all of the interior finishings, furnishes, and decor items.
Oh, hi there. Let's talk electrical cost. Okay, electrical, $2,000. Now, that is something we did hire out. I didn't feel comfortable installing a sub panel. Basically, we run a 100 amp sub panel from the main 200 amp panel that's by the house, or by our house. So this panel alone was, I think, $1,300 to pay somebody to do it. That was a lot. I did not expect to be that much. And I think now that I know how to do it, I'm actually gonna save a lot of money in the future because I don't think it was that hard. I did everything else, all the wiring for everything else, from the panel towards the light fixtures and everything else. So $2,000 total was a lot. It was definitely more than I thought. And just like I said before, outlet boxes. I think the outlet boxes were like $1.70 a piece. I remember those being like 40 cents a piece. So I think, unfortunately, we went way overboard on our electrical, somewhat rough budget that we had because of the expensive wire. The wire, I think a roll was $170. I remember that being like $70, not $170. So $2,000 for electrical, quite a bit. Okay, let's talk plumbing now. We spent pretty much $1,000 on plumbing, which it's pretty good because that $1,000 includes a $400 water heater, electric 50-gallon water heater. It includes the toilet, it's basically $100. It includes the sink, basically all the sewage piping and also all the supply piping from the house. The house is about 100 feet away, so that's quite a bit of pipe to bring in all the way here. And then I also had to spend a lot on the power cords that you put around the pipes so they don't freeze. So $1,000 for plumbing is not bad at all.
So with appliances, we spent $1,800. So this was the biggest ticket in there. The mini split was $900 itself. Then we also have the TV, the fridge, and the microwave included in that as well. Oh, and one more thing, I forgot. That also includes the Wi-Fi extender so that guests can have like Netflix and everything like that, and fast internet speed if they need to do some work. So next up are things like the consumables, the little coffee pods, the snacks that we provide, the s'mores we provide, the shampoo, conditioner, body wash. Anything that the guests use was $500, and I bought that in bulk, so it's gonna last quite a bit. So think all the pods, the sugars, the creamers, the snacks, toilet paper, paper towels, everything included there. Anything that the guests use often or that I buy for them to eat would be falling under that budget.
Okay, final category is the outdoor space, which we're very proud about. So outdoor space includes the stove, these chairs, the grill, all the reclaimed wood that we bought, along with a bunch of screws, concrete bags for the columns. And what else? Picnic table. Yes, picnic table. Front door. Basically everything that you see out here, and the gravel. That was a big ticket item actually. 20 tons of gravel that we got delivered. So that came out to $1,500 basically. But I think it's a money well spent right here because we've seen tons of people use this space and we got a lot of good feedback about it. So we're very happy. Okay, with all that, what was the total?
It was $25,000.
Yes. The last $1,000 we forgot to talk about, it's a fence. It's a fence basically to hide our own house from the glam site and to hide the neighbor.
Yes, so we built a giant privacy fencing. Yeah. So that cost $1,000.
If we were to do it again, would you spend $25,000 again?
I would. I think I could have even spent more money.
Yep.
So if we did it again, I would say I would have spent less time with all the reclaimed materials. That took a long time, and it was really hard to match specific pieces of wood, specifically for Andres more than me. But I'm really happy that we spent the money how we did, and I think we spent it pretty wisely, even though we went over budget.
Right. I am super happy with the finished product as well. It did take us 11.5 weeks from the very start to the very finished until we went live. So we're very happy with the timeline too. We hoped it could have been faster, but we had so much stuff going on. We had basically just moved to Tennessee. So on top of construction, we had a bunch of other stuff like trying to find a babysitter and big things like that.
Yeah, so it was tough.
We definitely learned a lot. We're very happy with what we have. We're making good money with it.
Yeah.
It's definitely working. We definitely attracted people. Right. And we're getting really, really good feedback from everybody. And so we're happy. We're going to keep building more and we'll keep you posted.
Yep, we're working on Shed 2 and 3 right now. Mm-hmm. We have a little bit of construction delays, but you'll see some new ones coming soon.
Yes. The next video we want to do, it's income. We want to talk about, we did a 30-day projection in the past of October, but now we actually want to go back and look at October and see exactly how much we made. And now we can also look at November, and we want to share those numbers with you. So that's coming up next.
Yep, stay tuned. We are Andres and Chelsea. We uprooted our lives from Arizona to Eastern Tennessee.
We sold our long-term rentals and are putting everything on the line to start our dream glamping business.
Join us each week as our family navigates this big new adventure, and we share everything we learn so you can also build a successful glamping business.